ratcheting up, with Pyongyang announcing it's conducted a successful H-bomb test. Donald Trump has hinted that a US strike on the North is possible.
Mr. President, will you attack North Korea?
So this is a very ominous message coming from the president, who posted online that all options are on the table when it comes to North Korea, and that he was in fact going to meet with his generals and a number of other military officials to discuss the crisis. Now, Mattis, his Secretary of Defense, recently stated that it's always a possibility to find a diplomatic solution to such a crisis, but Trump himself has already repeated that speaking with North Korea is not going to be effective. At the same time, we have a number of world powers, China and Russia, calling for all sides to show restraint. But Trump, it seems, is sticking to his guns and is going to continue to escalate the aggressive rhetoric that we've heard from him as of late.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. North Korea better get their act together, or they're going to be in trouble like few nations ever have been in trouble in this world. Okay? And this man will not get away with what he's doing, believe me.
Now, of course, this has already gone past just a war of words between Washington and Pyongyang. The U.S. has, of course, already bolstered its military presence in the region and continues to conduct drills with South Korea in the area, much to the displeasure of North Korea. And Trump received a lot of backlash for these comments, these aggressive comments he's been making recently, both abroad and at home. But on his side, the U.S. State Department did say that the way that Trump talks is just the only way to communicate with North Korea.
Is he exacerbating?
The president spoke to him in the language that Secretary this morning, in the kind of language that Kim Jong-un will understand.
But clearly, America's tactics have done nothing to quell tensions in the region. In fact, they seem to have escalated them, if anything. But it doesn't seem that America has any plans on the horizon to change their strategy with North Korea, leaving the rest of the world in fear that we could be getting pushed closer and closer to the brink of war.
Let's discuss the latest escalation of tensions in the region now with Charles Shoebridge. He's a security analyst and former UK Army officer. Very good evening to you, Charles. I'm going to start, I hope you forgive me for this, with kind of a worst-case scenario. Recently, Senator Lindsey Graham said if there was conflict with North Korea, the North Koreans would fire missiles upon South Korea, possibly Japan, and that thousands of people would die, that the US would be doing all the damage, though, upon North Korea. What do you think the actual capabilities are of North Korea at the moment? How far can they fire missiles, and what kind of payload can they deliver?
Yes, it's a good quote to use because Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, has been one of those that has been more hawkish in saying that although that would happen, if there was a war, then America should still consider that because there would be thousands of deaths, as he put it, and the responsibility of that would lie with North Korea. At the moment, the situation is that although North Korea poses a threat to its near neighbours, it has just demonstrated, it would appear, a greatly increased capability in terms of the yield of its nuclear weapons. It claims that this weapon would be capable of being placed, it's being small enough to being placed on a long-range missile, an ICBM, that could presumably reach, as we know from their previous tests, their missiles can reach Japan, possibly could reach other targets, including Guam and places like that of American interest in the Pacific. But really the main threat, because that militarization claim hasn't yet been proven, but undoubtedly in the relatively near future that will become true. And so as time goes on, North